You may recall back in September, Berkeley reportedly forked out approximately $600,000 for security to host a speech given by Ben Shapiro. Why? Because of the threat from far-left activists like Antifa, who, as we know, like to shut down events of people they don't like through violent protest. Now, there were protests and a few arrests, but thankfully the event went ahead as scheduled, mainly because the police were allowed to do their job for a change. But as Ben Shapiro noted, even in the land of the First Amendment, free speech isn't free. And so too here in Australia, some institutions have adopted the principle that free speech costs more if you're a conservative. Sydney University charging students a security fee for conservative events. University students are being told they will have to pay to hire security guards if they want to run events spruiking conservative ideals, including pro-coal ideas. Student organiser Renee Gorman said the Conservative Club was told by Sydney University it had to agree to pay unlimited security fees if it wanted to host an event called The Case for Coal. The club was also hit with a $760 fee to pay for up to 10 security guards for an earlier talk on the dangers of socialism in August. So the irony of a talk titled The Dangers of Socialism Becoming a Self-Fulfilling Prophecy was lost on the university administration. And to add insult to injury, no protesters actually turned up. Students who don't follow the left-wing line of thought are paying for the left to throw tantrums. Yep, that's right. You have to pay for others that can't conduct themselves like adults. A university spokesman rejected the fees were one-sided, but would not explain how the university decided who was charged. The University of Sydney makes its facilities available to staff, students and the community, but all applicants are required to pay for the costs incurred for events. Students are charged whenever security assesses there is a need, and all kinds of events are charged. Yes, but perhaps it would be a good idea to assess who are the groups responsible for necessitating security and billing them. Dr. Peter Phelps, who was attending the Forum on Coal and Energy, said it was a clear attempt to curtail free speech. It is disgraceful, he said. The Institute of Public Affairs research fellow Matthew Lesh slammed the fees as a heckler's veto. It creates a strong incentive for students to disrupt events and make certain ideas unspeakable on campus. Students should not have to pay for bad behaviour. Well, I suppose it's only fair since those radical leftists have to pay up to ensure their events aren't overrun by right-wing fascists. Or do they? Kelton Muir from the University Socialist Solidarity Student Club said his group had not been charged for security guards for their events, including talks by left-wing activists as well as other campus events on the madness of capitalism. A spokesman for the Young Socialist Alliance Club said they were only charged if their events were held on weekends or out of hours. Well, colour me surprised. Now, you may remember the aforementioned Renee Gorman, now the Vice President of Sydney University's Conservative Club. She was the same Sydney University student who last year tried to organise a screening of The Red Pill, but was shut down by the University Student Union because the film was deemed to have the capacity to intimidate and physically threaten women. Only someone who hadn't actually watched the film could have come up with that. Well, last night, Renee appeared on the Bolt Report to talk about the situation at Sydney University.
This university has told Conservative students that they must now pay for security guards at their events. The Uni's Conservative Club was hit with a $760 bill for up to 10 security guards for a talk on the dangers of socialism back in August. One of the dangers of socialism is they don't like having you hold meetings to discuss why they're dangerous. And it's just got worse. Joining me is Renee Gorman, Vice President of the University's Conservative Club. Renee, thanks for joining us again. It's lovely to see you. Listen, Renee, your club decided to hold a panel discussion on the case for coal, which just happens to be our biggest export. Wouldn't be controversial, I would have thought. What did the university ask from you?
So once I put in the venue application, the university got in contact with me and stated that at this time there doesn't seem to be a need for security, but if there is a need for security in the future and if they decide there is a need, we will have to pay for whatever security they could provide. So it was saying we can slap 10 security guards on you again and you will have to pay that money again.
Well, you had to pay $760 last time and now this. How can you keep affording those kinds of bills? You're only students.
Well, pretty much what's happening is our ticket money is subsidising these security fees. So we charge a small fee at the door, and what that was supposed to go to at the Dangers of Socialism was actually a family in Venezuela under the oppression of socialism. It was supposed to go to them, but instead it went to the security fee at the university.
Well, isn't that embarrassing? I thought the left was all about helping the marginalised, but it appears there's an exception if the marginalised are the direct result of their own ideology. Now, the other part of this interview I thought was interesting was the response from the university.
The university, Sydney University, is governed by a Senate, and on that Senate sits Peter Fitzsimons, is one of the number there. Now, Peter Fitzsimons is an author and a Sydney Morning Herald columnist who should, in fact, defend free speech and open debate to the death, as should the university, even though he is on the left. Now, has Peter Fitzsimons offered you any sign of support at all on this matter?
No, he hasn't. The university as a whole has been very quiet. I think they're just waiting for this to go away. The whole time that these security fees have been coming at me, I've been asking for a written explanation, and they have not supplied that to me. And also, when I started complaining, they said in no uncertain terms, if you are unhappy with this, please hold your events off campus.
So, put up or shut up. Violent leftist tantrum throwers are now a normal cost of holding a talk at Sydney University. I think Ben Shapiro summed up these mental infants at his $600,000 talk back in September.
So what is their specific objection to me? Well, according to this masterfully done poster, it says, Shapiro is coming to campus to spread ugly fascist views, dressed up in slick-talking intellectual garb. I do like the slick-talking. It says, this is harmful, exclamation point. He, along with fascists of many stripes, have targeted Berkeley because reversing Berkeley's radical history would be a major advance for the consolidation of fascism on campuses everywhere and throughout society. The reason I'm here, I've been asked this a lot, the reason that I am here is because fascism does not own this university. Because there are students who do want to hear differing views, who don't want to be told that they can only hear one view, who don't believe that the First Amendment should die under the jackboots and Birkenstocks of a bunch of anarchist communist pieces of garbage.